Il y a réseau. Il y a réseau.
Coupé. À côté de nous.
Adrien et Emmanuel sont là.
Tout était construit par les prisonniers eux-mêmes.
Now we are going to the prison cell where most of the political prisoners were imprisoned there. We are going to listen to the stories from the tour guide in Robben Island. Plenty of people coming from different places in the world. This group with us from Canada, as you know, plus our friends and colleagues from the Union. So it's Franco, French, and English groups together, and we're going inside the prison now. Actually, looking at all this, let us listen to the tour guide. What he's going to tell us. I don't know. Now we're getting inside. Yeah. Excuse me, please. Excuse me, please. All this is in the prison. This after being renovated, actually. And we're going from a compartment to another compartment. And far more better than the prisons in the Middle East.
They were prison guards. They are explaining how they were trained and how they were armed to guard us as prisoners here.
And the tour guide was a prisoner himself.
I was
how many
a
years?
prisoner here. For now, just listen to watch the video for now.
Okay.
For now, just watch the video. All those talking there, they were prison guards. They are explaining how they were armed, how they were trained to guard us. Yes. 5 years. 5 years.
All you can see this video on the TV screen were prisoners here, and they're saying their stories to humanity to let us stop being actually oppressors and oppress people or torture people. And you can see different individuals stayed here for tens of years in this remote island. Nobody can see them. Even when they used to receive letters from their family, letters have been, some part of it has been deleted. Some part of it has been deleted and cut off, and not being given to the prisoner because they don't want to connect actually them to the outside world.
In this prison, there was a prison court right here. That door on your right, down there. The prison court, if they feel you have broken the rules, they will either sentence you to get a whipping on your bums or sentence you to be locked in the single cells for a maximum of 30 days where you will be starved, given very little as food. But if you are charged for trying to escape or fighting the guards or found in possession of political literature, this prison court will give you an additional sentence. 2 years more, 3 years more, for whatever reason, yes. As we move, we are going to see Mr. Mandela's cell as it was at the time of sleeping on the floor. He was in those single cells with other leaders. They were all going out for prison work, just like other prisoners. And then, as we move, if you need to interpret what I've just said, you interpret as we move. Mandela's cell is not far, it's right here at the back. Or when we are there are no beds. Before 1979, all prisoners were sleeping on the floor. Yes, let's go there.
Thank you. These are the different isolatory cells when people were living there or put in prison.
Buckets were used as toilets in these single cells.
Yeah.
That bucket in Mandela's cell would have been used as a toilet in the single cells. Each man will have his
Which is
bath.
Mandela cell?
Take some picture or two, and then you wait there.
This is Mandela cells. After you.
Take some picture or two, and then you wait there.
This was Mandela cells as it was
Before the door on the right,
before,
the bucket on the floor.
and he has been here for 27 years. Okay? And these cells are the same, and same for all the prisoners who have no time to do anything but to wait in this isolation cell, single solitary cells. But to be very honest, it's far more better than the cells in the Middle East and some of the Muslim countries, unfortunately. Nowadays, not in the past, far more better than the facilities given to political prisoners in the Middle East, as well as some of the Muslim countries, unfortunately. See this size, you still can stretch yourself in legs. You still have some sunshine shining from your windows, and you still can make some noises. Not like in the Middle East, which is supported by the West, unfortunately. Supported by the French, the British, the European, and the American. Unfortunately. Assalamu alaikum. Another part of this big prison, which is in Robben Island. Still walking between different areas, and the tour guide can hear him.
Rising up to become one of the top leaders. He was one of those very close to Nelson Mandela as a leader of African National Congress. So he was also serving a life sentence. He was in the same case with Nelson Mandela, serving a life sentence.
And how long was he in prison?
He was here almost 25 and a half years, but he was serving life sentence. But when political changes were happening in South Africa, all political prisoners were released.
Thank you.
You please come this side.
No.
In this area, there are 48 single cells. I stayed here when I arrived for about 2 weeks. They were saying we are observing you. Yeah. After that, big cells. Our stay more in the big cells. You can also come this side where there are single cells.
We are walking between corridors to see different isolated cells.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
No, he passed on about 4 years ago. He was already a very old man. I think he passed on around 2018 or 2019. Yeah. Ahmed Katral. Pictures and short stories in these single cells. You can read those stories or take pictures of those stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Each cell has a story,
Pictures and stories.
and you can look at it inside. And each story has a life which has been wasted in the prison cell. And look at this gentleman. And look at this gentleman.
Way down, there are more cells. I'm here,
And this gentleman as well.
standing next to the door.
Another cell. Here. And this is Marcus Solomon. And quite often you look at those people not as numbers. Their lives have been wasted, being cut off from humanity, from their families, from their neighbors, from the whole entire world, and they are actually put in these small rooms, as you can see it. And this is a story, and this is the individual, Gabi Bogomola, and others, freedom fighters, fighting for the freedom for life, because life was imprisoned in these imprisoned cells. This isolation cell, John Nakusi, you can see that, as well as others, inshallah. All the same. Different kind of cells, different kind of people, but have one objective and one aim is to fight for freedom for humanity. Fight for freedom for humanity. Fight for freedom for humanity. Don't make humanity your group, your organization, or your culture, or your clan. Make humanity for humanity. Now we are following the gentleman. He got very strong voice, alhamdulillah. And he was a prisoner. You can see him walking in front of me.
There are more cells that you can go to this side.
We here need to learn the price of your freedom. Price of freedom could be the life of the individual who is asking to save freedom for humanity. Freedom is something Islam liberated more than 1445 years ago, and he make equality and fairness between all different races of Muslims. And the Prophet ﷺ explained it between all different cultures, all different histories, all different background, all different creeds. This was Islam, and this is Islam. Unfortunately, nowadays, Muslim leaders, or so-called Muslims, are fighting freedom and fighting civil society organization and curbing down anything to stand up to free the people in our area. As you can see it in Palestine, I see it in different Arab countries in the Middle East, but the epic of it is what's happening in Palestine, inshallah. So freedom is something that lives of prophets and messengers of God were given back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant such freedom to the people they were sent to save their dignity, their integrity, and their honor. This is freedom. Freedom at Robben Island. Robben Island was the land of oppression, Now it become a museum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
No and punishment. But when we leave, we go out, you'll also see other single cells with mesh wire. Those ones were only and only for solitary confinement punishment, those ones with a mesh wire. But if there is more, they cannot accommodate others there, they will then keep them here. As Sipo, when I came to this prison, maybe 2 weeks, I was also in these single cells. I was told, we are going to observe you. After that, we'll take you to the big cells. Now, Robben Island Prison was built by prisoners themselves. At that time, prisoners were staying in the old prison, that side. But as part of hard labor, part of prison work, it was prisoners who built this prison. And they were building it on a site that was part of Robben Island grave site. Along the way, picking up lots of human bones. Lots of human bones. And then, of course, you already know about stone quarry and lime quarry. But there will be other forms of prison work, like cutting the trees, chopping the wood, constructing some of the roads, as well as repairing the Robben Island roads. And then you also collect the seashells and collect the seaweeds. All those were the reasons of going out for prison work. You go out around 7, you come back around 4. Some of the guards are violent as you do your prison work. Other guards not violent as you do your prison work. From here, we are going to see the big cells. Even in the big cells, there is something to see as pictures. Some of the pictures there are pictures of genocide. It's mass graves. So when we are there, the first cell on the left, if you don't want to see bad pictures, gruesome pictures of mass graves, do not go to the first cell on the left. Other cells, they just have ordinary exhibition. That is where we are going now. After that, once we have seen the big cells, we all go to the harbor. I do know, because we are a larger group, I'm fully aware it's not comfortable because we are too many. But there was nothing I could do. I had to combine the two groups. So bear with me. I also want to apologize on behalf of Robben Island that we had to combine two groups. We are going to see the big cells. After that, we go to the upper. Don't worry, no one will be left behind by the boat. Myself, I have to be in the same boat. Let's go there.
We're going here to this area. There's a lot of torture in 4 big cells. What they call it here, what's happening at the time, is genocide at its peak, to curb any voice for freedom, for liberty, for civil liberty, by any color, any race, any religion, any individual, any age. Actually, unfortunately, this was happening by the Dutch as well as others, and it's still happening up till now, actually in different parts of the world, including some of the countries which are calling themselves Muslim countries, where they are abusing the liberty space and reducing it, diminishing it, or unfortunately, and they still call themselves Muslim scholars, Muslim individuals, Muslim leaders, which as worse as it was a few hundred years ago in this area.
After we were released many times after we were released.
And
Ladies
this
and
actually
gentlemen,
the-
you can also go to the hospitals. There are 4 big cells. If
Well-
you stand here, the rest cannot come in.
The 4 big
There are
cells,
4 big cells. You can go into
one of them
any
here.
of these cells.
one of them is here,
The one with genocide pictures is on the left. You can
the
go
one is
into
here.
any of these
For
cells.
all this, and how many people are here?
This
You
is
can
another
see
form
here.
of censorship that they used in the olden days by just blocking out what they
These are some part of the letters, you can see it here. Inshallah. They cut pieces of the letters coming to the prisoners. Okay.
واحد قال لي وقف نزل يزقه.
لا طلع معاه وقف معاه يا الله يا الله. Another cell. You have seen how the prison guards used to cut the letters coming to the prisoners. They used to delete it first, some part of it, then they used to cut it. Going to another prison cell for a group of people who are actually staying in it for years and years and years. Now it became a history. My message to those tyrant, idiotic, and barbaric individuals is no matter what you do, one day humanity will judge you and will make you accountable. History will spit on you and humanity will ignore you because you were just a dictator. You were just a sadistic individual who can see all these letters, how they're actually deleting some of the wording was there. Actually, this is for their private things. And this is where they're sleeping. And this is a group of people used to live in this cell. See all this, and this is some of the names here, the identity. And most of those people have been killed, tortured, or died in here. Unfortunately, no more of this kind of atrocities. Actually, the only genocide now is happening, unfortunately, in the Middle East. And look at here, another one with the names of people, actually the prisoners, how they used to torture people. Look at on the right hand side, these individuals here, and those people, the victims as well. You can see all of them, actually, unfortunately. And these are the actual people here. Here as well. All sorts of punishment and torture and atrocities. You can see it. And this is the hard labor in the prison. You can see the prison guard putting his hand in his pocket and with his colleagues. And these are the faces of the people who have been tortured here in this cell. You can see them. They are fighting for our freedom. They're fighting for freedom of humanity and for humanity. And This is personality. You see this one. And this one. Great people give their life and their leisure and their comfort zone to protect our identity and our freedom, space, wherever we live. No matter how they look like, they stood up for us hundreds of years ago, hundreds of years ago, hundreds of years ago. No matter who they were, no matter what was their religion and their background and their culture, they stood for us. That's why we are free today. They stood for us. That's why we are free today. They stood for us. That's why we are free today. If you don't stand for humanity, nobody will recognize you and nobody will stand up for you. See, all those people stood up for us to save our dignity, freedom. As if you can look at the photograph, they might have been looking like they're looking at us nowadays, telling us, I've done this for you people. What are you going to do for others? What are you going to do for others? What are you going to do for others? This was the life in the middle of the desert. See, slavery, absolute slavery, absolute slavery, absolute slavery. Still happening by some European countries and American countries up till now, but nobody takes notice. We can pray for their souls, actually, and tell Allah, God bless them as much as you want. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.